In the dim light of twilight, an eerie scene unfolds. An immaculate white horse, a ghostly figure among the shadows, reveals a shocking secret beneath its pristine coat. A horrific barnacle wound blights its flank, an alien sight that draws our gaze and stirs a visceral reaction. This once majestic creature now wears the adornment of grotesque sea life attached to its skin like a dark crown. As the camera pans in, we see the barnacles, hardened shells that sprout like malignant tumors, clinging tenaciously to flesh. They warp and twist, evoking both repulsion and a twinge of curiosity, as if nature itself has conspired to transform this noble steed into a canvas of maritime horror. How did it come to this? Barnacles, those small crustaceans typically found clinging to rocks and boats, have taken an unholy liking to our unfortunate equine friend. These creatures, with their tough, calcareous shells, are adept at latching onto surfaces, employing a powerful adhesive that is nearly impossible to remove. As they proliferate, the horse's skin becomes a battleground, the infection feeding off the animal's vitality, while the barnacles thrive in grim symbiosis. Each barnacle, a minuscule fortress of infestation, draws nutrients from the horse's tissues, leading to inflammation, pain, and a grotesque accumulation of gory debris. This unsettling infestation, while a natural occurrence in marine environments, feels distinctly unnatural when placed on a land-roaming creature, prompting us to ponder the bizarre twists of existence. It's a dark reminder of the fragility of life, where a fleeting moment, a careless step into the shallow waters of a tide pool, can result in an unforeseen. In the heart of the African savanna, where the sun blazes down and the air is thick with the scent of dry earth, a chilling scene unfolds. A leopard, the epitome of grace and power, now bears the marks of a horrific encounter. Its sleek, spotted coat, once a symbol of stealth and beauty, is marred by a grotesque wound. A gaping hole, oozing with pus, and surrounded by angry, swollen flesh. This is not just any injury. It is the result of a beehive infestation, a dark twist of nature that leaves even the most seasoned wildlife observers in shock. As we delve deeper into this unsettling tale, prepare yourself for a journey that reveals the raw, unfiltered reality of life in the wild, where beauty and horror often coexist in a delicate balance. The leopard, a solitary hunter, is not accustomed to such vulnerability. Its powerful body, designed for stealth and agility, now struggles under the weight of a swarm of bees that have taken residence in its wound. These tiny creatures, often seen as harmless pollinators, have transformed into a nightmarish plague. The bees, drawn to the warmth and moisture of the leopard's injury, have made it their home, creating a hive within the very flesh of this magnificent beast. The sight is both fascinating and repulsive. The buzzing swarm dances around the wound, a macabre ballet of nature's cruelty. Each bee, with its stinger poised, is a reminder of the fine line between life and death in the animal kingdom. As we examine the wound more closely, the scientific reality becomes even more disturbing. These, in their quest for survival, have not only infested the leopard's flesh, but have also introduced a cocktail of bacteria and pathogens into the open wound. The leopard's immune system, once a formidable defense, is now overwhelmed. The infection festers, causing the surrounding tissue to necrotize, a process that is as gruesome as it is fascinating. The once proud predator is now a victim, trapped in a cycle of suffering that is both tragic and inevitable. But how did this happen? The answer lies in the intricate web of life that connects all creatures, big and small. The leopard, in its search for food, may have inadvertently disturbed a beehive, provoking a swarm that retaliated with a vengeance. In the wild, every action has consequences, and this leopard's misstep has led to a horrifying fate. The bees, driven by instinct to protect their home, have turned a simple encounter into a life-threatening situation. It is a stark reminder of the unpredictability of nature, where even the mightiest can fall prey to the smallest of creatures. As we continue to observe this tragic scene, we must confront the ethical implications of such an event. The leopard, a symbol of strength and beauty, is now a victim of circumstance, caught in a web of life that is often cruel and unforgiving. It raises questions about the role of humans in this delicate balance. Our encroachment into natural habitats, our disruption of ecosystems, and our often careless interactions with wildlife can have dire consequences. The bees, once seen as mere pollinators, become agents of destruction in this narrative, a reflection of how interconnected and fragile life truly is. In the end, as we watch the leopard struggle against its fate, we are left with a sense of unease. The dark twist of this story serves as a reminder that nature is not always kind. It is a realm where beauty and horror coexist, where the line between predator and prey can blur in an instant. And as we ponder the fate of this unfortunate leopard, we cannot help but chuckle at the irony in a world where humans often fear the sting of a bee. It is the mighty leopard that has become a victim of its own hubris. Perhaps, in the grand scheme of things, we are all just players in a game of survival, where the rules are written by nature itself, and sometimes the smallest creatures can bring even the mightiest to their knees. In the shadowy recesses of the Himalayas, a solitary snow leopard traverses the rugged terrain, its fur blending seamlessly with the stark white of the snow. Yet, beneath this majestic exterior lies a grotesque affliction. A parasitic flower has taken root in a wound on its flank, a macabre sight that challenges the very essence of survival. This plant, a sinister embodiment of nature's cruelty, burrows deeply into the snow leopard's flesh, feeding off its life while simultaneously revealing the fragile line that divides beauty from horror in the natural world. The flower's tendrils weave through the leopard's muscles, morphing a once pristine coat into a ghastly canvas of decay, turning the embodiment of grace into a stark reminder of life's darker side. As one gazes upon this tragic image, the chilling reality sets in. Even the mightiest hunters are not impervious to the relentless cycles of life, and death, suffering, and sorrow. As if this weren't enough, our snow leopard also battles with barnacle infestation, a phenomenon that is both bizarre and alarming. These stubborn crustaceans, usually the bane of seafarers, have found a peculiar niche on the fur of this formidable feline. They cling tenaciously, embedding their calcareous shells into the leopard's skin, creating a puzzling spectacle where water-dwelling parasites have adapted to a terrestrial predator. Think of it, a majestic creature in the stillness of a quiet meadow, where sunlight dances through the trees, and a gentle breeze whispers secrets, stands a white horse, a creature of beauty and grace, now marred by a ghastly affliction. This is not just any ordinary wound. It is a horrific beehive, a grotesque reminder of the thin line that separates nature's splendor from its darker, more sinister side. Upon closer inspection, one can see the raw, pulsating flesh around the hive, the skin beneath raw and swollen. The bee infestation, a painful consequence of this equine savagery, has turned this gentle giant into a canvas of chaos and suffering. Within the perfumed air of flowers lies a tempest of buzzing bees, relentless in their pursuit of survival, yet oblivious to the havoc they wreak upon this unfortunate creature. As we delve deeper into the anatomy of this horrific wound, the very nature of bees comes to light. Typically seen as harbingers of sweetness, their sting now reveals a cruel twist of fate. Nestled within the horse's side, the hive breathes a life of its own, filled with frenetic energy and the acrid scent of decay. As bees tirelessly flit in and out of the makeshift home they've created, their disposition shifts. At first, they play their part in pollination, yet soon the line blurs between nature's harmony and chaos. The horse, unable to defend itself, becomes a victim ensnared in a web of sting, an infection, painted in a palette of suffering and resignation. The injury itself is not just limited to the visible wound. It signifies a much larger conversation about the intersection of humans, nature, and the unintended consequences of our actions. In the icy expanse of the Arctic, where the stark white landscape meets the deep blue of the ocean, a chilling tale unfolds. Imagine a majestic polar bear, a symbol of strength and resilience, now marred by a horrific wound. This is not just any injury, it is a grotesque hive of bees, a sight that would make even the most hardened naturalist shudder. The bear, once a regal predator, now finds itself in a bizarre and tragic predicament, its thick fur matted and stained, a testament to the bizarre intersection of nature's beauty and brutality. As the camera zooms in, the viewer is confronted with the unsettling reality of this creature's plight. The bees, tiny yet formidable, have taken residence in the bear's flesh, creating a grotesque spectacle that is both fascinating and repulsive. The infestation begins when a curious bear, perhaps drawn by the sweet scent of honey, inadvertently disturbs a hive. In a frenzy of defense, the bees swarm, stinging the bear repeatedly, injecting venom that causes swelling and pain. The bear, in its desperate attempt to escape, becomes a living host, a canvas for nature's darker side. The bees, in their instinctual drive to protect their home, have turned this once proud creature into a grotesque battleground. The wound festers, attracting more bees, creating a cycle of suffering that is as tragic as it is fascinating. As we delve deeper into this dark narrative, we must confront the unsettling truth about the relationship between humans, animals, and nature. The polar bear, a victim of its own curiosity, mirrors the consequences of human encroachment into wild habitats. Our actions, whether intentional or not, disrupt the delicate balance of ecosystems, leading to unforeseen consequences. The bees, often seen as harmless pollinators, become agents of chaos. Imagine you are gliding through the icy depths of the North Atlantic Ocean, the sapphire blue waters parting silently before your advance. The underwater world is a symphony of peace, of softly murmuring currents and far-off whale songs. But then, a shadow looms into view, a massive white whale, its majestic body marred by an unsightly wound, a festering sore that shocks the observer. This gruesome gash, inflicted by a most unlikely assailant, clams. That's right. Sheltered in the grotesque folds of flesh are myriad parasitic clams, clinging stubbornly, feeding off the giant's lifeblood. These clams are no ordinary mollusks. They are relentless invaders, seeking refuge and sustenance in the whale's soft tissues, a grim and unsettling sight. Indeed, the clam infestation on the white whale is not merely a testament to nature's cruelty, but also an intricate ecological ballet. Upon closer inspection, the clams, with their sharp-edged shells, burrow into the wound, creating a stronghold amidst the living fortress of blubber. They consume the whale's bodily fluids, slowly draining its life force. The whale, in its agony, thrashes and twists. But the clams remain impervious, their tenacity as grotesque as it is fascinating. The wound becomes a breeding ground for bacteria and fungi, its edges red and swollen, oozing with a rancid cocktail of infection. The white whale's immune system, powerful as it may be, struggles to fend off the relentless invasion. This ghastly spectacle begs the question, why do these clams target the white whale? Is it sheer opportunism or a darker design of nature? The answers lie in the very essence of life in the ocean, a ceaseless struggle for survival, a brutal game of predator and prey. The clams, in their parasitic pursuit, symbolize a macabre cycle of existence, where even the mightiest are not spared from nature's unyielding grip. As the documentary unfolds, viewers will witness the horrifying details of this infestation. The clams, with their myriad tentacles, latch onto the whale's flesh, their shells digging deeper with every pulse of the whale's immense heart.